There's an evocation in this of the idea of fables, the idea of a certain type of narrative that has a magic to it.
Howard, come on in, have a seat. Everybody in the movie needs help. Everybody needs the help of angels.
It speaks to something that we're all frightened of, and yet there's an incredible optimism within something that is also our worst fear.
Yes, you're right, I was there in her laugh. But I'm also here now in your pain. I'm the reason for everything. I am the only why.
In this movie, confronting death turns out to be the most beautiful path to living and loving life.
My daughter's name was Olivia. She was 6 years old. What was your daughter's name, Howard?
This is a film that has comedic qualities to it, in spite of all these incredibly heavy things that we're talking about.
He believed me. I'm telling you, he believed me.
That's amazing.
I mean, that was spectacular. That was because there was no safety net. You see, that was Grotowski. That was pure stellar Adler.
This is a holiday fable, a life-affirming fable. It is really meant to be taken as we took fables as children. Collateral beauty was basically an idea that was in my head that I really didn't understand, that kept kind of nagging at me. And then finally I decided to just write it and see what it is. And then when it was finished, I realized, wow, this is a holiday movie.
The magic of Alan's script is that he pulls you along into things that seem a little bit unlikely, but you're smiling at the convention of it. And then, of course, the trick of the movie is all gets revealed. Do you know what I mean?
What if love, time, and death show up in person and answer the letters that Howard's been writing to them?
Even the plan of the executives, Whit, Claire, and Simon, to hire actors to play love, time, and death, that's pretty out there and most likely would never work in the real world. But that's not what this is about. It's a fanciful attempt to get Howard back, and it teaches them all a lesson, and that's what I hope permeates through the story.
For me, the movie is absolutely a fable, and therefore I think what that does creatively is it does give you an enormous amount of license in terms of how much snow you have, you know, how beautiful the streets really are. They took advantage of the fact that it is set in Manhattan, and all of that stuff is there. Those incredible shop windows, they are mind-blowingly beautiful.
Don't you just love that smell? Wait, stop. Look. Close your eyes. Breathe it in.
It's Christmas in New York, and when you see Christmas in New York, it's historically synonymous with magic.
Really, a touchstone for this, for me, it was always It's a Wonderful Life, and It's a Wonderful Life is during the holidays. And I think a lot of fables, if you notice, take place during the holidays.
And that's really what we spent a lot of time thinking about and talking about, creating a fable-like world out of New York that equals the fable-like story that Alan Loeb had written for us.
We don't get to choose who we love and who loves us back. If he accepts that, then maybe, I don't know, maybe he gets to find his life again.
Everybody was very moved. You know, there's not a person who reads this script who doesn't break down in tears.
Once you have a script like that, it's a snowball effect. It just starts attracting other people.
I thought this was the indie movie. As I wrote, this was the $2 million budget with great actors, but no one's heard of them.
Any movie you make, you draw up your dream cast and make a list of who would be the best possible actors you could possibly get for each role. And somehow it seems like for this movie, we got everybody at the top of our list.
The idea of collateral beauty just touched us all. We all got it. We wanted to be a part of delivering this, beautiful story to the screen.
I don't care about time. This is a prison sentence. I don't want your gift! Because you took hers.
Will Smith was the first actor in this configuration of the movie, and once he started on, it attracted Helen, and then all the other actors started becoming attracted to it.
I have a very young child. I'd come to the end of a very grueling job. I didn't really want to work when this kind of script came through my door. And I read it, and I actually gave it to my mum, mostly so that she'd say, no, don't do that, don't do that. Like, you don't need to do that. Stay at home, be with the baby, just chill out a bit, don't do that. And she read it, and she phoned me up in tears, and she said, nothing's made me feel like that for a really long time.
I was just very struck by how simple the ideas ultimately are, how those emotions of love, time, and death that we all have to go through at some point. I found their use of those themes within this movie incredibly moving and very, very powerful.
He lost his child. And now he doesn't care if he loses everything else. We just can't let that happen. We have to bring him back.
When I read this, I thought it had a lightness of touch and a sense of humor, while also having working underneath it some very poignant themes. It presented that kind of challenge, and that wasn't something I had actually worked on before.
You know, there's a theme in this movie about dominoes falling, and that's what putting this movie together was like.
This cast, when I look at the picture of all of us together, I'm like, yeah, we should be making a superhero movie.
We were very fortunate that, and this doesn't always happen, we were very fortunate that everyone just wanted to help one another out.
I was really, really pleasantly surprised, almost amazed at the degree to which that group fell in to a very natural harmony with each other.
You know, they're all big movie stars and we know them in iconic roles, but the fact is, these are all really passionate actors with a real love of their craft, brilliance at their craft, and but also deep, deep affection for the process of making movies.
Some of my fondest memories actually of working on a movie ever were the scenes that I had with Jacob, who plays Raffi.
Time doesn't go from January to December or from noon to midnight. You know, we all just make it that way in our heads.
That's absurd. Try telling that to a person who's an hour late to a wedding or was just sentenced to 20 years in jail.
Or someone fighting a baby clock.
We really don't need to have this conversation ever.
I was just thankful that David really saw something in me that I really didn't see in myself, for me to be amongst these heavy hitters, you know? Ed's been doing it for years, Kate's been doing it for years, Helen is a legend, you know, Will, and then Jacob Lattimore, you know? So it's like, what?
I loved spending time with him because he wants to watch everyone else and learn from other people and say, you know, how do you think I should do this bit? And how did you think that went? And, you know, it's nice to work with actors who don't have an ego and so want to make it very much a collaboration.
Yo!
I can't believe you made me come to this neighborhood carrying $20,000 in cash.
When we did that scene where she brings the money to me, I kept messing up on the lines. I just kept messing up. And I was just like, yo. And she's like, don't panic, you got it. Just keep going. And I'm just like, well, okay, I got it. And I did it like 2 or 3 takes and finally got it. And she just jumps up and down. Yes, yes, you got it. That was incredible, that was incredible. She gives me this hug and she's just excited about it.
It's a lovely position to be in when, you know, there's Jacob. I was his age when I did my first film, and here I am, a wizened old 40-year-old woman, and I can share the things that I have learned and with someone who really wants to hear them.
I'm just like, oh my goodness, this is crazy. Like, this is Rose from Titanic.
We really were a team, and really blessed as well, I think, to have lovely Helen, who, you know, she's a mensch.
So you want us to gaslight your boss?
I'm sorry?
Gaslight, it's a play, movie. Oh my God, does nobody watch anything that's longer than 8 seconds anymore?
Watching, you know, Helen do her thing because she's so free and she's not afraid to mess up. And a lot of people are. If it was up to me, you'd play every part.
I could play all the part. I've done that before, you know. I mean, I'd change costume, obviously,
of course,
but yeah.
Actors are funny, you know that?
Fun. Do you think I could do comedy? I've never done a comedy. That's interesting.
I've always wanted to play someone called Brigitte. It sounds so, French. It was a lovely idea. Really, you're playing two roles. You're playing an actress, but then you're playing an actress who's playing a role. You know, obviously I know actors, I understand actors. I've lived my whole life with actors. And I've never actually played an actor before.
Helen is so graceful at embracing her age. You can really see this older actress playing an older actress and absolutely celebrating, you know, that time in her life and looking as fantastic as she does. And she's sexy. I mean, it's, you know, it's so inspiring to stand alongside someone like that.
I've been waiting a long time for my moment, for validation, and this was it. An audience of one, in secret, with no applause.
I'm sure Brigitte thinks she should win a Tony. She's just pissed off that there weren't enough people to see it.
So why did you decide to come in tonight? Yeah, I've seen you outside. I was gonna come out one night and invite you in, but I guess I didn't want to blow up your spot.
Blow up my spot.
Yeah,
You didn't want to mess up my jam.
exactly. Working opposite Will Smith is such a magical experience because he's so many different things. You know, he's an incredible actor. He's really, really spiritual. And then he's a kid as well, a complete kid. Will have you laughing all the time and loves to push boundaries and provoke you, and a tormentor as well. I'd say he's my tormentor. He was my tormentor on set. He knows it. You know, he's not gonna deny it. Hey, how you doing?
Oh my God. It's not gonna be you in the fight.
Stop. Stop.
It was crucial for this movie to have humor and lightness to it. We're dealing with really, really dark stuff. Simon is dying. Howard lost a 6-year-old. There is a support group based on people who lose children in this movie. At the risk of just, you know, depressing everyone to the point where they have to leave after 15 minutes, I had to make sure there was lightness to this.
I call it a screwball drama. The characters have big egos or they want more lines.
Death gives time all of its value. Maybe I should play all the parts.
And buried in all of this kind of screwball-y kind of conventions are some very thoughtful, deep themes about love and about being the best person you can be, being kind.
So in the creative process, what would happen is no matter how dark or difficult a scene was that we were doing, we were always looking for the levity.
I'm so sorry.
You gotta be friggin' kidding me. I'm eating.
The biggest challenge for me is balancing the poignancy and the comedy.
Just make sure you notice the collateral beauty.
For me, the greatest message of this movie is that there's a gift in everything. We forget that sorrow and loss are incredibly painful, but there is a gift there as well, and they teach us something incredibly profound. And if we allow them to, it enables us to experience life in a much deeper way and to really grow and blossom from the experience.
Yes, film is escapism, and it should be, and that's wonderful. But I think the ones that you really love are the ones that hit you in places that make you cry.
I feel like this is one of those films that you cannot help but talk about it for 2 hours after.
What was her name?
Olivia. And I'm hoping that people will come out and feel ever slightly more prepared to deal with their difficulties.